welcome to our latest installment of ABL Advisors video series featuring thought leaders from the commercial finance industry. Joining me today as a co-host for this video is Sue Berry, the CEO of First West Background Due Diligence. Sue is recognized as a national due diligence expert in business risk and mitigation, and also possesses over 25 years of experience in broadcast and digital media, having launched Business On Media, where she is a featured host and executive producer of the Business On videocast with Sue Berry. Thanks for joining us as a co-host today, Sue.
Thank you, Mike.
It's a pleasure to have you. And our guest today is Kate Lepak. Kate is the Asset-Based Lending Director for People's United Business Capital. We're very pleased to have her join us today. Thanks for being here today, Kate.
Thanks so much for having me, Mike.
It's certainly our pleasure. With that, what I'd like to do is start right in with the first question and talk to you a little bit about your thoughts on what's happening in the marketplace. So the COVID-19 pandemic has caused widespread disruption in the commercial lending markets. From your perspective, what were the biggest challenges that were faced by your credit underwriting and portfolio management teams as they started working through the early days of the crisis?
Well, this was truly unprecedented, Mike. It was a robust economy just all of a sudden stopping in one day. I was a shock to the system, and I think that there was just a deer in the headlights moment for both our portfolio management teams and for our clients. Early actions included, an expense cut program, emergency style. I mean, really, we were in free fall, and no one could foresee a bottoming to it. I think that there was a little bit of calm that was brought to the market with the extension of the government relief programs. We've all heard about the payroll protection program, among others, that injected very much needed liquidity into the markets. And so as to portfolio management, the next order of business was wrapping our arms around how to administer that particular program, which was rolled out very quickly, was fraught with the need for change and evolution on a regular basis. So we were constantly shifting our processes to try to keep up with government changes. Happy to say that after many weeks of sleepless nights for our teams here at People's United, we were able to process over 16,000 loans and $2.5 billion in relief to our customers as a sort of an immediate stopgap, just to kind of calm the waters, as it were, while we continue to get our hands around, where we're at and what we're going to do, particularly with businesses that are high risk.
Did your team actually work and administer the PPP program then? Were they redirected to that group?
It was an all hands on deck process. Our teams, literally worked with the clients to collect the information. We had a sort of a homegrown infrastructure built immediately while we were waiting for the commercial platforms such as the Numerated Loan Direct program to become available to us. So it was 2 weeks of nonstop work for everyone, the infrastructure folks, the systems folks, as well as the line businesses. But within 2 weeks, we did the vast majority of that funding, which is something we've never done before. I think we're all doing things we've never done before, but that was, I would say, in the early stages, that was where the immediate effort went. And now we're trying to grapple with the no contact world. So that also impacts portfolio management and underwriting. So we're trying to wrap our arms around that as well.
Okay, great, thank you. And I'll turn over the next question to Sue.
Kate, the middle market traditionally is a high customer touch segment of the lending market. How has your team's approach to business development changed since the crisis began? And then how have your clients reacted to your approach?
So with regard to business development, a couple of things became clear early on. First of all, field examination as we know it is completely different now. field examination, which, I'm sure, y'all are aware, both field examination and appraisals of various asset classes are critical to our ability to underwrite and manage any business. And so we moved to remote, which is very different. You don't have the on-site touch, especially for inventory situations, machinery, equipment, et cetera. The appraisal market, especially for high-risk industries such as retail, is completely unable to deliver accurate values within a reasonable or normalized period of time. So across the markets, business development slowed. It came to a stop, frankly. It's on pause. As for the clients, our ability to kind of help them through the early stages allowed us to really develop an even stronger confidence in our relationship. They know that we're there for their best interests and that we're leveraging every possible opportunity to keep liquidity around them as we try to get a fix on, where we're headed. Nobody really knows. And so I think those relationships are stronger than ever.
Right. And another question is, I know with your team, you and I actually had a conversation the other day about this. How has it been working from home? I'm sure it's very challenging.
Another shock to the system. But what I would say, Sue, is that our team, I want to say that within a week, we were nearly 100% remote. So kudos to the tech folks that were able to get us there. But our team was able to make that transition without any kind of interruption in customer service. So really proud of how that happened. I think what we miss is the ability to kind of walk down the hall and, kind of kick ideas around. The camaraderie that comes from being in the trenches with your coworkers. We don't have that. We miss that. We've done sort of social connection Zooms where, you could kind of throw out topics from favorite movies to favorite books to anything, just to be able to have a conversation that, isn't strictly business oriented, to kind of let folks, be who we are together. So we've managed, we've adapted, but it's not the same. And I really look forward to when we can be together as teams.
What type of new communication strategies are you incorporating to cultivate new business opportunities?
So a couple things. First of all, we have we're trying to hone our digital media game. Asset-based lenders are not typically known for the savvy sort of social media presence. We've got a great commercial marketing team here at People's United. And so we've been busy in these months trying to refine our contact databases to target audiences for specific content. We're developing that content. And so we are very much looking forward to when we can, with the confidence to be able to go out and service our prospects, begin to let those programs out. Another thing is we've somehow mastered the Zoom and the Teams technology. I think that there are a lot more meetings, if you want to call it that, via Zoom, where prospects really don't necessarily want you coming to their premises, or they're not even there. And so that's how we sort of connect. We want to call it face-to-face. And it's been a powerful tool for being at least present in some capacity. We've continued to do all that we do in terms of cultivating our tier one prospects, which is, with every possible channel, telephone calls, emails, just the Zoom meetings, whatever it takes. So we're ready to go.
Great, thanks very much, Kate. Your ABL group includes a lender finance unit. And I'm curious to know, how did the crisis impact how you're supporting the support that's required by the various lenders in your group? Particularly, was this a difficult time for the lenders that you're working with that needed funding?
Lender finance is a segment, Mike, that heads into a cycle before everybody else does. So, and it will come up out of the cycle before everybody else does. It really is a leading indicator, right? And so what we saw with our lender finance business is an immediate contraction in the loan balances. I mean, if you can imagine, particularly with ABLs and factors, you've got, receivables and inventory, things slow. It's a self-liquidating a credit product. And so the balances went down. It reduced pretty significantly, pretty quickly on. One of the benefits to the segment is that we're lenders to lenders, and they understand our need to know in real time. We have been asked to participate in portfolio reviews, which happen as often as every 3 to 4 weeks. Communication has been strong. Because we've got visibility sort of across a few asset classes in our book, we can see consistent behavior so that we know when there's an aberration and we can react and respond to that. For the most part, their portfolios are holding interestingly in the ABLs. Our lenders' customers have been able to access the government programs to create liquidity. So it really does work, or it has worked. It'll be interesting to see how this sort of plays out once the liquidity is gone. But it's strong communications. We're pleased with the teams that we lend to. They know what they're doing. It's a scary time for everybody, and no one's going to come out of it unscathed. But there are no shocks or surprises as we communicate together. Interestingly, we've begun to see requests for increases to loan facilities. So already, we see our clients preparing for what they believe will be a very strong second half of 2020 in terms of deal flow. And you can imagine the banks will be going through their portfolios and will need to move certain customers out that have not necessarily weathered as well. And the commercial finance segment is ready and willing to have them.
Seems like the term that I hear all the time is still the same. We shall see.
No crystal ball, Mike.
I wish we did. Otherwise, we'd be taking things a little bit differently.
Exactly.
I don't have any more questions on this right now. I think that we've covered a lot in this interview today. I don't know if Sue, if you have anything else that you would like to ask of Kate before we close this out.
No, I think we covered some good ground. And Kate, your answers were great.
Okay.
That's great.
Appreciate the opportunity to have a conversation with you all.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I'd like to wrap this up, and thank you very much, Kate, for joining us today and sharing your experiences with our audience. It's very appreciated that you took the time out of your day to do this. And Sue and I both thank you, as I know our audience will as well.
Thanks so much, Mike. Sue, thank you.
And Sue, thank you for joining us as well as our guest host for this interview. It's been a pleasure having you join us, and we wish you both very good health and stay safe out there.